So you want to know how barbarians have changed in D&D 5.5? Whether you're making a new character or trying to port over an old one, I've combed over absolutely everything that's been changed, so you don't have to. The only things that haven't been changed are the core traits, unarmored defense, fast movement, and extra attacks. Weapon mastery is new and basically gives you a fighting style based on your weapon, which, while being a blanket buff to any class that gets it, is outside the scope of this video. Rage has been changed a bit, but broadly for the better. It lasts for 10 minutes now, which is nice, but more relevant with later features. It doesn't stay up if you get hit anymore, but it does if you force someone else to make a saving throw, and you can just use your bonus action to keep it up. Rage damage and uses are unchanged, though you do lose the unlimited use at level 20 for all the 2 people that matters for. Only big downside is it's lost when incapacitated now, not only when unconscious. Which, seeing how taking hits doesn't keep it up anymore, so you'd lose it on your turn anyway, is still kind of annoying, actually. Danger senses all deck saves now, not just ones you can see, which is mostly the same, but still nice. Reckless attack now lasts until your next turn, so if you reckless and then make an opportunity attack, it will still be at advantage. Especially good with retaliation, but we'll get there. Level 3 primal knowledge you hear from Tasha's, but with a massive buff. You still get the extra skill from the barbarian list, but you can also use strength for acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, or survival checks while raging, which is where the 10-minute rage really comes in handy. Level 7 feral instinct is technically a lot worse because you lost the surprise immunity thing, but the advantage on initiative rolls was really the main feature, and no one used surprise runs properly anyway, so it's fine. You also get instinctive pounce from Tasha's, which lets you move half your speed when you rage. Level 9 brutal critical is gone and replaced with brutal strikes, which works completely differently. Instead of being on crit, it's on a reckless attack. You forgo advantage on one of the swings, and if you still hit, you deal an extra 1d10 damage and either slow them down 15 feet or push them back 15 feet and chase them, which are both pretty sweet for crowd control and only get better at level 13 when you get 2 new options to either give them disadvantage on their next save and stop them making opportunity attacks, or give the next person to attack them, not you, plus 5 to hit. And at level 17, it does 2d10 damage, and you can use 2 of the effects at once. Level 11, Relentless Rage, is mostly unchanged, except instead of bringing you to 1 HP, it brings you to twice your Barbarian level HP. So you're pretty likely to survive an extra hit every time it works. Level 15, Persistent Rage, gained the option to regain all spent rages when you roll initiative once per long rest, and with the longer rages, this makes losing the infinite rage at level 20 even less of a problem. And it removes incapacitated ending rage and switches it back to unconscious, which is nice. Level 17, Indomitable Might, works on strength saves now too, based, and you get an epic boon at level 19, which every class gets, and it's a buff for all of them. Finally, your capstone primal champion is very technically buffed in a kind of important way, actually. It still increases your current score by 4, but up to a max of 25. Which matters since every single epic boon bar 1 lets you increase your strength or con to an easy 21, which plus 4 would put you over the old 24 limit. For the subclasses, 5.5 only has 4 per class, which means that Ancestral Guardian, Battle Rager, Beast, Giant, Storm Herald, Wild Magic, and very technically Totem are missing. But you can actually still play as them because Wizards of the Coast really wants you to believe this game is backwards compatible. And before we cover the ones in 5.5, a reminder, there are 11 more of these coming down the pipe, and with a channel my size, subscribing is really the only way to make sure you'll see them. Anyway, Path of the Berserker is completely reworked, mostly because they changed Frenzy from an extra attack to bonus damage on your first successful attack equal to your rage bonus damage number of d6s, and they got rid of Exhaustion, so now it's actually playable. Level 6 Mindless Rage is buffed a bit, ending charm and frightened effects on you when you rage instead of just suspending them. Level 10 is Retaliation, moved down from level 14 but otherwise unchanged. It swapped levels with Intimidating Presence, which to match its new level was buffed a whole bunch. It can target multiple creatures now, last for a minute instead of you need to use your action every round to keep it up. Can be used on the same creature multiple times instead of once every 24 hours. Uses your strength instead of your charisma for the DC, which is huge, and while you can only use it once per day for free, you can burn a rage to do it again. Path of the Wild Heart is technically a new subclass, I think, since all the names are different, but it's also definitely just Totem Warrior. Spirit Seeker was renamed to Animal Speaker, and aside from specifying it uses wisdom for the spells, is unchanged. Totem Spirit, the main feature, was renamed Rage of the Wild, and now lets you pick a different buff every rage instead of picking one when you get the feature. This makes Bear losing Radiant, Necrotic, and Force resistance way less painful, since when relevant, you can instead just choose Eagle, which instead of giving enemies disadvantage on opportunity attacks and a bonus action dash, just lets you disengage engage with the same bonus action for no opportunity attacks. And let's do it with the same bonus action as your rage, which is a nice touch. Or wolf, which is unchanged, barring technically a words thing, but it's very good, so we're happy with that. Though elk and tiger are missing. Level 6 Aspect of the Beast was renamed Aspect of the Wilds. It lets you change the buff on long rest and has completely new buffs with different animal names. Owl gives or improves dark vision, panther gives a climb speed, and salmon gives a swim speed. Though the old buffs feel very similar power-wise, so you could probably convince your dam if you still want to use them. Level 10 Spirit Walker was renamed Nature Speaker, and aside from specifying wisdom for the spells again, is unchanged. Level 14 Totemic Attunement was renamed Power of the Wilds. Again, you pick one on rage instead of when you gain the feature, and they change the names to be unique. Bear has been renamed Lion, and creatures can't be immune to it. Eagle is renamed Falcon, and instead of only working in small bursts, just gives you a full fly speed when not wearing armor. Wolf has been renamed Ram and doesn't take a bonus action, it just happens when you hit them now. And Tiger and Elk are once again missing. The one new subclass is Path of the World Tree. Level 3 Vitality of the Tree gives you your Barbarian level in temp health when you rage, and start of your turn while raging, you give another creature rage damage bonus number of d6 temp health, which is honestly a very good healing ability. Level 6 Branches of the Tree. When another creature starts to turn within 30 feet, you can try and teleport them next to you. Then you can reduce their speed to 0. Very good for pulling enemies off allies, pulling allies away from enemies, or just forcing someone into proper throttling range. Level 10 Battering Roots. Your heavy and versatile weapons gain 10 feet of range, and on hit, you can add the Topple or Push weapon masteries, either knocking them prone or pushing them back 10 feet. The prone one is especially nice with branches, since if your speed is 0, you can't get up from prone. Level 14 Travel Along the Tree. Well, one feature isn't bad. When you rage and as a bonus action while raging, you get a 60-foot teleport, and once per rage, that increases to 150 feet, and you can bring up to 6 people within 10 feet with you. Final subclass is Path of the Zealot, and to get it out of the way, even though it's technically the second ability, they got rid of the funny. Warrior of the Gods doesn't make resurrection spells on you free anymore, which is definitely for the best. It's a better ability now. Letting you heal a couple of d12s as a bonus action is pretty sweet, but that doesn't mean we can't still be mad about it. The other level 3 feature is Divine Fury, which is mostly the same, but you choose the damage type every time you hit instead of when you get the feature, and it specifies that you can use unarmed strikes with it now. Based. Fanatical Focus is very much improved by adding your rage damage bonus to the reroll. Zealous Presence has the exact same effect, but you can now burn a use of rage to do it again before your next long rest, which is nice. And finally, Rage Beyond Death is gone and replaced with Rage of the Gods. A bit of a shame again, but straight up immortality was probably too good, especially since you can heal yourself now. The new feature gives you, for 1 minute or until you drop to 0, a fly speed, resistance to radiant, necrotic, and for some reason psychic damage, and if a creature within 30 feet of you drops to 0, you can burn a rage to instead bump them to your barbarian level, minimum of 14 when you get the feature, which is probably best and most often used on yourself, but the fact that it can be used on others and is literally called revivification is crazy for a barbarian feature. Final rating for the changes. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Maybe a bit hyperbolic, I don't think it's literally perfect, but I am hard-pressed to find anything I really want to change about it outside of, like, getting the carrying capacity boost from Old Totem Warrior. But if that's the biggest complaint I have to give full marks. But let me know what you think. Do you think the rework is as good as I do, or are you wrong? And if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown of my thoughts, or want to watch the bar review a week early, they're both available on my Patreon. Plus, you'll get your name up next to these fine folks, so everyone will know that you got on this train early. Till next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and bye-bye.